overnight shouldn't drop any lower than 15 degrees Celsius.
It's Red Hot Radio. Spice FM 98.8 FM.
Good morning, listeners.
Good morning, Ammar. Yes.
Great. Apologies, I'm having some technical type of challenges right now, and it's wonderful to see you as well, Phil.
Hi, Ammar, you okay?
Great. Sorry, we should have explained that we didn't want you on until at least 10 past.
All right, but it was nice to listen.
Yeah, no, sorry about that. But as you were there, I thought it appropriate to let you in because you're a friend as well as obviously a significant supporter. So sorry if I'm sounding a bit disconnected. As I say, I hadn't realised what time you were coming on to the show. So
nice surprise.
But you're here, and good morning. You're listening to Ammar and
Jalf,
live on our weekly radio show right here on Spice FM.
and each week we'll try and bring some views, news, and one or two clues from the business world.
Asian Business Connections aims to connect, support, and promote the Asian and wider communities.
And we'll be talking shop quite literally, and not just corner shops. Whether you're looking to start a business, have an existing business, or you just want to talk business, we can help.
We can help, and we do help. So thank you. And good morning, Phil. Please introduce yourself, say who you are, what you do, why you do it.
Why I do it? Well, morning, everybody, and morning, Jeff. Hope you're
Morning,
well.
Jeff.
All right. Yeah, my name's Phil Andrew. I wear a number of different hats. I am the Partnership Director at Great Annual Savings Group in Seaham. I also support the football club at Spennymoor Town. I'm the Business Director there. And lately, I've also taken up a role with the Groves Family Community Foundation as well. So I have, depending on the day of the week, a number of different hats, but my primary role is with Great Annual Savings. Why do I do it? I think having that variety of role across those three different functions just gives me such a pleasure to be able to help businesses, people in different ways, whether Jeff touched on it there in his introduction, supporting businesses themselves or supporting individuals through the foundation, and then the football club. Well, that's an easy one. That's not work, is it? That's a bit of a pleasure on the side. That I like to get involved in. So, yeah, it's a varied role, but very enjoyable. That's what I like. I don't like to stand still. I like to be doing lots of different things on a daily basis.
Wonderful. I'm glad to hear it, and thank you for joining us this morning, Phil, because alongside those roles and everything else you do, one of the things that we're ever so grateful for from Asian Business Connections is your continued and ongoing support for the awards dinner, and this year we're expecting it to, we say this every year, but we are genuinely expecting it to be bigger and better. And I think it's more important this year than ever before. Why do you support it, Phil?
I think really what it stands for more than anything is that inclusivity, diversity across all communities. And that's so important, both in personal life and in business life. And we got involved, it must be 4 or 5 years ago, I'm guessing now, Ammar. You probably know better than myself. And we just played a very small part, but quickly realized how important this was across the community, but also to our business as well. We share a lot of the morals and ethics that you've been preaching about across all of the years. I don't think any business can stand still. You're either moving forward or you're going backwards. And to do that, you've got to have a very diverse workforce. You've got to be very inclusive because we're all learning from each other. And it was just, being honest, outside of the business side of it as well, it was just a pleasure to be involved. those nights are great nights. I'm not saying that's the only reason that we did it. The night itself, it's not. But the night itself is great, and it's just I've said this so many times before. If we could just show that across the country, what goes on just on that night alone, I think people would be very, very surprised and happy to see those interactions. So I think it just, again, culturally, it sits well with us in terms of our morals and ethics and what we stand for as a business, and anyone we can partner with, like yourself, Ammar, it just helps us go from strength to strength as well. So yeah, there's a tangible reason to do it, but then there's also a very personal one as well.
Thank you. And this year we've had, Phil, we're coming up to nearly 100 nominations. It's the most we've ever had. And one of the messages that we're sort of very, very keen to get out there is, certainly over the last 18 months, what we've seen and heard is very much so many individuals and organisations and government recognising that Black and ethnic minority individuals have been far more impacted from and by COVID than other members of the community. And in fact, some of the statistics showed that if you were Black or Pakistani or Bangladeshi origin, so Black, Pakistani and Bangladeshi men were nearly 3 times more likely to die of COVID than white people. And you just think, whilst we still haven't got to the bottom of why that is, it's quite scary to see that statistic. And then the various different communities that have suffered. And of course, it's right to highlight these issues and challenges. But actually, we should also be doing all we can to celebrate and have a positive appreciation of sort of the Asian community as an example. And that's why the awards for me this year are particularly poignant, because it allows everybody, organizations from across the community, to come together and have a enjoyable sort of fun sort of time. And the awards are such good fun. I think I've got lots of pictures of you, Phil, dancing, talking.
Sure, that's not the case.
Changing some light bulbs, as they say, or whatever that dance is. But so yeah, for me, the 14th of October, it's going to be a fantastic evening. I think I was talking to the team yesterday, and we're not far off from it being a sellout, and there's still sort of 7-8 weeks to go type thing. So the interest, the support, all of that is first class. So thank you ever so much. Phil, talk a little bit about Great Annual Savings, and what type of things do you do, and what type of things does the organisation do to help support businesses?
Yeah, thanks, Ammar. Yeah, and just before I pick up on that, really looking forward to the 14th. I think it has got bigger and better every year, and looking forward to this year. And we've got to hold a few people back because we've got a number of people who want to join the table, who maybe let down a little bit this year. So yeah, looking forward to that. So yeah, Great Annual Savings Group. We're based in Seaham. We've grown over the last 9 years here. We've just moved into new offices, which are, I know we're on the radio. I wish I could show everybody because we've got a beautiful view across the sea. We operate in the B2B arena, so we look to help businesses save money across a number of their costs. So it could be anything from utilities costs, telecom costs, waste, and a number of other services that we support. So we have a very consultative approach with our customers, and many of them have been with us from the the start, as we've grown from a small footprint in the Northeast. We operate right the way across the UK now, but we don't forget our roots. The Northeast is where we started and where we traditionally have been the strongest. But we employ around about 220 people in the Northeast, and then we have another 100 people across the rest of the UK as well, from Scotland right the way down to the south coast. So yeah, it's really just a case of engaging with any type of business, really, from a small retailer up to a multinational, and work with them to look at probably two areas. One, how we can help them reduce their costs across all of the different products and services that I mentioned there before, but also can we help them maximize revenue as well? Is there a way that we can, through our group and our buying approach and through our customers and through our staff, can we actually bring those customers closer to us and help drive up their revenue? So we've partnered with a number of our customers over the last few years. So where we can, we will purchase with them, we will partner with them as well, and use them wherever we can. So yeah, if we can get footfall up as well as driving costs down, then it's a double win. So it's not just about cost saving, it's about helping them develop as a business as well.
And I think Jalf and I can speak firsthand from our respective businesses as well, can't we, Jalf, as to the support on offer?
Absolutely. I think when I first met Phil and the team from Great Annual Savings, it was a breath of fresh air, because I think we're all privy to the phone calls every single other day of hard sell, wanting to kind of save money on your gas and electricity and A, B, C, and D. And it's really off-putting in so many ways. And we don't really entertain those calls because we just think that they're not going to actually genuinely look after our business interest and kind of have that heart to come and feel and that, yes, you're going to get real value out of the kind of new deals that you're going to do. But I think what was great for me was that there was not really persuasion. There wasn't a hard sell. It was a matter of just coming nice and easily, telling us about the service and ultimately giving us an insight on how the savings could be made, the length of contracts that you could do, and just that real focused customer service is why I kind of decided to give our entire group over to yourselves, and hopefully that relationship will be ongoing, and it is ongoing, and when the contracts expire, you're proactive, and it just saves us a lot of headache once you build that trust level. That's the most important thing I find in business. So I think the way that it was all approached and handled was what made me kind of give my soul to yourselves, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, and it's not easy. Again, I think that the industry has got utilities and broking I'm talking about here has got a bad reputation, and rightly so as well. And it needs to sharpen itself up. I think there's more regulation coming, which is certainly welcome from our perspective, because things have got to be done in the right way. Bad business will always come back to bite you at some point. So you're right, Jalf. It's all about creating that trust, doing it in the right way, and being able to stand out for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And I think it's that value and that customer and person first, Phil, has set you apart, hasn't it? Because let's be honest, a number of organisations that had set up several years ago, or a few even years ago, haven't sustained or lasted. And it's your sort of appreciation of people, both your own people as well as your customers, that has led to you becoming one of the fastest growing companies, certainly in the Northeast, but nationally as well. And you're right. I've been fortunate to come and see firsthand the wonderful premises that you've built, the offices, the facilities there for all of your staff are amazing. And the location, sort of overlooking the sea, the gym, all of the breakout areas, the restaurant, all of the canteens, and everything that you're doing from a health and well-being point of view. You know, I remember, how long ago was that, Phil, coming? It was probably at your other office, wasn't it, when we done a well-being type of conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. We were really keen through lockdown and the various lockdowns that we kept engaged with all of our staff. So whether you were on furlough, whether you were working in the field, or whether you're working from home, we were really conscious of people's, particularly their mental health and as well as their physical health. So I think when you came on, Ammar, we did a health and wellbeing podcast, which we put out to staff. We've got a gym within the office, which is just starting to open up now. We've been really cautious about how we do that because we've done a lot of outside events. I haven't partaken yet, I must admit, but certainly plan to. It's always next week, isn't it? But we were really conscious of making sure that we invested in our staff in a slightly different way than probably we'd been able to in the past. So putting the events on, making sure that the podcasts were both physically challenging for people who wanted to do the Joe Wicks types of things, but also we wanted to engage with people's mental health and ensure that through what has definitely been a tough period and had an impact on everybody in different ways, physically, mentally, financially, that we could support them across all of those three areas. So yeah, we've got an office that we're very proud of. We were really looking at two as one to honour the past as well. There is some nice little touches that are a throwback to the mining community of Seaham, because it's where the office are. We're built on the old mine here, and our chairman's family in the past have been from that community as well. So we were conscious of that. So the colours that we've used, the name of the rooms, and there's some other nice little touches that throw back to that. And then, as I mentioned there before, all of the real focus on the health and well-being of staff. The whole idea that if you're looking after people, they're gonna stick with you through thick or thin as well. And you mentioned the canteen, little things like that as well are important. What type of food do we put in there? Does it support the whole health and well-being of your staff as well? And moving away from the traditional egg, beans and chips of the 80s and 90s. So yeah, it's a pleasure to come in.
No eggs, beans and chips in your canteen, Phil?
I think if you'd ask for them, Jalf, yes, I'm sure there's still throwback there, but I think the chef probably turns in his grave a little bit when he sees that happen.
Okay. I bet. And Phil, what's the plans? What's the future?
Lots going on at the minute, Ammar, across I mentioned the three different areas that we're focusing on. So from a Great Annual Savings perspective, we've got a number of different business support modules that we're looking to develop. We're working very closely with a number of colleges across the northeast, where we're looking to put some support into students coming through. So that's an exciting next step for us. So there'll be more to mention in the next few months. So hopefully, if I get back on, I'll update people on that. But that's a big challenge. The foundation, I think the last time I was on, it was almost top secret, but I'm wearing the brand as we stand. The foundation is going from strength to strength. We've just employed 12 really good people in the foundation from all of the local areas that we're working in. So again, from a community interest perspective, we want to further develop that. So that's working with young people, particularly people and families that are in a vulnerable state. And again, that's very focused on the northeast. So we've only just really kicked that off. We've done a summer of sport across 4 of the key areas that we're working in for kids across the northeast, and managed to provide a full week's worth of free coaching to over 1,000 kids in the northeast. So that's going well. So there'll be more to come there. And then the other role I mentioned about the football club, the plan is at Spennymoor, we want that again to be the centre of the town, to be a really good experience for the people within the northeast, not just in County Durham, but the whole of the northeast. And we're hoping that manifests itself in turning into a full-time league club in the next couple of years. So, for example, this weekend we're expecting over 2,000 people down at the match, Spennymoor versus York. So put a little shout out there. If you're bored on Monday, there's a good match going on in Spennymoor. Please come along because it's a good experience. So lots going on. I'm a bit like yourself. Yeah, it doesn't stand still. Different hats on at different times, and looking forward to the next few months.
Amazing, amazing, and it's it's wonderful to hear and see that focus on people and place and the various programs that you've developed as well, Phil. Just before we sort of end this part of the conversation, Phil, how does someone get in touch if they want to find out more? Where do they go to, and who do they talk to?
So if you are a business out there and are looking for any support at all in terms of your costs, then initially go to our website, which is www.greatannualsavings.com, and there'll be a link there. I'm also available on LinkedIn myself, so it's Phil Andrew. So if you do need to get in contact with me directly, I'm more than happy to have conversations or social media interactions if anybody wants to contact myself direct, and then we'll get the relevant team to look at whatever you need.
Amazing. And Phil, we're going to get you back on in a couple of weeks' time as well, so that we're going to get some of the nominees. So starting throughout September, we're going to get a range of nominees. We'll be talking to them, better understand them, and obviously as our headline supporter, very keen, because I know it's not just a case of, well, we want some promo or marketing. You're really meaningfully interested in sort of supporting individuals and the whole community. So thank you ever so much, as always, for your ongoing support, Phil, and look forward to catching up both physically and virtually.
Brilliant. Always a pleasure, Ammar. Really look forward to it.
Yeah, thank you. All right.
Brilliant.
Take care.
See you guys again.
Thanks,
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And there we have it. Phil Andrew is a really good guy, and the organisation, I must admit, they do so much, Jalf, across all of the community, and for the community as well. So, have you been training?
I'm constantly training, Ammar.
Yeah.
Why? Do I look bigger?
No, just your muscles. I'm surprised you haven't pulled up your t-shirt sleeves as you do regularly.
No. Well, no. It's only
shows the guns, as they say.
the guns.
Guns. Yeah. How have you been? Have you had a good week?
Good. Yeah, good. Just we've been really busy. We've had Alfred with us this week. He's came up from London. So it's been like really, really nice to have him. He's a complete inspiration to our teams across the restaurants, and he's just a very, very positive. He brings up so much positive energy, and the intelligence is beyond anyone I've met in terms of hospitality. So he comes up, spent all week, wowed the guests, and we're working on some really amazing new dishes and stuff, groundbreaking dishes, some of them which are just kind of created based on kind of regions and ideas from certain provinces of India, but obviously you need to slightly work and change things. So for example, jackfruit is a new big thing in the vegan world. So we've been working with some dishes with jackfruit, which has just been amazing. So we're really excited. Got some like great homemade desserts that we just weren't in a position to start off with from day one, because we needed the team trained. We needed someone to develop some pastry skills and this, that, and the other, which we've been working on over the last few weeks and months. So we're ready to launch and elevate and develop the menu. So yeah, it's been great this week, and just getting ready for another busy weekend, I guess.
Amazing. And one of the things that I particularly admire, Jalf, is your ability to create and innovate. So taking those regional variances and applying them practically is a delight to see. And in fact, we'd regularly come to Spice Cube and enjoy because you used to go around India, didn't you?
Yeah, we used to have these regional dinners, and we would have a map of India, and then we used to go and do a journey of the regions. So each month we would do a special regional dinner, which was really, really interesting. And at that time it was exciting. It was a lot of work, but we had the team with a regional knowledge, and it was really, really good. But it's just something that we've never actually done since. Just maybe the concepts of the restaurants didn't lend itself to doing a regional cuisine menu, because it was focused on street food, and this is focused on something else. So, but I think that was really an interesting period for us, and it was a great journey to go around India. Such a vast country. 1 billion people, so X amount of languages, X amount of regions. The menu is, the cuisine is so dynamic and diverse in India, from north to the south, and
It's amazing. It's amazing, to see that level of variance, and to put it bluntly, the uncouthness of diners generally, including myself, right? As in, you think of an Indian dish or Indian food, and you just think of a curry, and you go, right, well, a chicken tikka, or it's a this or a that, and as in, it's good to see people's interest in that variance, but there still remains a huge lack of appreciation and understanding of the different types of dishes, the different types of cooking, and it's no better illustrated than within food. So, as you say, from the north to the south, from the east to the west, India is vast, and I'm fortunate to have been to India on a number of occasions. The differences between sort of the sort of south west, so you've got like Bangalore and Karnataka and places like that, where they are primarily vegetarian, and they have dosas, and they have sort of the taste is incredible to more sort of fish orientated dishes on the right southeast side of the country, through to meat eaters in the Punjab, and everything in between. It's incredible.
It absolutely is. I think it's without a doubt one of the best cuisines in the world. I don't know which country can beat the cuisine of the Indian subcontinent. I just think it's impossible, because it's so dynamic, and it's so broad.
Colourful, and it's so flavoursome.
Yeah,
it's mad though, isn't it? If you think about it, how if you travel literally across the globe, how palates are so different. There are people coming from the west to the east and eat food that's produced in the east, and you go, well, where's the flavor?
yeah.
Where's the taste? It's so interesting to see that, and then people traveling from the east to the west to go, oh my gosh, this is so rich, and it's so but it's particularly tasty, and you see the application of far many more spices and ingredients and
I think I was,
in day-to-day dishes now.
yeah, I was just about to say, I think the critical part of it is the access to the spices, and it's the spices that make the flavor the food so unique. Obviously, if we look at historical cuisine in the UK, let's say, for example, fish and chips, which is like a beautiful dish, such a historical dish. You have it all day long. We grew up on fish and chips in many ways, going to those chip shops after school, and it was such an amazing dish. But it is such a basic dish. It is tasty, but there's no use of spices. And when you add a dimension of spices to the food, I think it just takes it to the next level.
Well, without a doubt. I mean, gosh, if you think a very simple ingredients like salt can truly transform the taste and has transformed the tastes of so many dishes all over the world. And I'll tell you what I find relatively peculiar is the fact that the suggestion that exclusively salt or sugar can have such a detrimental impact on people's health, whilst I recognize that it can, and clearly in significant uses. The fact is, salt and natural sugar and salt has existed in dishes across the globe for hundreds of years, and people didn't necessarily have the likes of diabetes, and I'm talking about within food. I'm not talking about it's when you start introducing it into carbonated drinks and all of these sugary type of applications that we can understand it affecting. But generally speaking, people didn't suffer the ailments that we do now.
I think it's changed a lot, though. I think
it has. Anyway, some of the scary topics that are featured in the news. A couple of things, and we don't know what we don't know, Jeff. But the efficacy, so the reliability of the vaccines reduces over a period of time. So inevitably, we're going to have to keep, and they'd suggested this, but it's quite interesting to see that after 3 months, after 6 months of being vaccinated, you are not as immune or protected as you were at the point of vaccine. It's one of the things. And the other thing is there allegedly has been a higher potential risk of blood clots in those that are vaccinated.
Say that again. There is a higher risk. Well, and they're just telling everyone that now.
Well, they didn't know a bit of that.
Well, people did suggest that, and there were some people. There were lots of people that were talking about that, and there were blood clots, especially from is it the AstraZeneca one? So, I mean, that's the whole thing. There's all this big rush for everyone to go get the vaccine, and look, but why does it have to be such a big rush? Because if you want to put something into your body, they should be done after all the necessary checks have been done. So, for example, if you're a female and it takes you're looking to have kids, and that process is 9 months. So there needed to be a study based on whether it affects ladies' biological systems and ABC, and surely that's a minimum of a 9-month cycle anyway. So that research can only be done during a 9-month period to cover that a particular angle. And I'm not even a doctor, I'm just using my common sense and to understand the validity of research. So if you want to kind of vaccinate the global population, surely I appreciate that the timings of it was very challenging, because you got the balance of trying to curb the spread of a virus by getting the vaccinations, because they felt that was the right way to do it. But vaccinating the entire world's population without the right and the correct research, I think it's always been a question mark to the powers that be. And for whatever reason, they've decided against doing the research as they've done on all the other big vaccines historically, which you want to go and get. So let's say, for example, you get bitten by a dog. You want to rush to the hospital and you're desperate for that vaccine, because you know that the vaccine could potentially save your life. Now, but that vaccine that they've created for that situation, or whether it be you were bitten by a snake, it's done and it's trialed and it's tested, and you feel as though that you're comfortable about it, because you know that it's been done over such a long period of time and it's got a success rate and it's potentially going to save your life. But on this particular one, because it's been done so fast, I know lots of people that have doubted it and they shouldn't be labeled as anti-vaxxers. All they want is there to be the necessary research done. And if there is a risk of a blood clot, then you should be able to outweigh that risk. Right? Should I risk my body to get a blood clot, or should I risk my body to deal with the virus? I think that's the critical question for some. And I think that's that's a very, very fair.
No, I think, look, people need to be informed, Jalf, and as with any type of sort of vaccine or medical procedure, there are risks. You know, as in from anesthesia, so getting general anesthetic, through to some people being allergic to general penicillin and everything in between. There's always going to be a risk. Now, the question is, does the risk outweigh the reward? So, i.e., are you more likely to die from COVID as opposed to from contracting a blood clot? And the matter of current fact is that you are far more likely to die of COVID than you are from the vaccine. And that's a matter of fact, based on the information that we have.
Of course, and I think it is. It is, and if you speak to, and if you know the number of people that have had vaccines, and I know lots and lots of people that have had the vaccine, and thankfully most of them have been okay. The majority of them have been okay. There are complaints amongst a number of people also that they have had some side effects and have got some issues since they've done it. But I think the balance is those that have had the vaccine, thankfully, they don't have the big side effects. So I think from what I've seen and noticed with my own eyes, I think the vaccine, there is more people that have had the vaccine and they're okay. And there are few that have complained that they're not okay. So that does outweigh the good that it's done, or the effect that the side effects is minimal, or it's not. There's more people that are better. There's more people without side effects. And the group of people that have side effects, it's generally, maybe it's from, I would say it's about 10, 12%, 15% from the people that I've spoke to myself. Even if I'm speaking to our teams, which is 100, and there are some that have complained and some that have missed work for like 7-8 days, because after they've got the second vaccine, they were unwell, but they've returned and they're fine. And there hasn't been really anything serious that's happened amongst anyone within our teams, which is really good news.
Which is, touch wood, very important. One of the things that we wanted to talk about today was within the business topic of the week, Jalf. It's something that Phil talked about and we've spoken about on a number of occasions, and it's called a value proposition. So we talked about business model, we talked about customer segments, we're now moving across a business model canvas to value propositions. And to have a successful business, you need something that your customers want and are willing to buy from you. That is your value proposition. More importantly, why should your customers choose to buy from you over your competitors? Supermarkets are a great example as we all use them. Why do you pick one supermarket over the other? Do you always go to Sainsbury's for the nectar points, or perhaps it's Aldi for great value? Do you prefer the quality at Waitrose, or maybe you go to the Co-op because it's convenient? Each of these is a unique selling point, is what it is. For these companies that draw customers away from their competitors. To work out your value proposition, it is good to think back to your customer segments. Each customer has an individual need and pain that your product or service could remedy. How can you best market your product to meet your customers' needs? Let's take Aldi, for example. Aldi's customers tend to want a cheaper alternative to traditional supermarkets. They may also find it easier to shop without the massive amount of choice available in large supermarkets, and they may enjoy the surprises of the things that can be found in the middle aisle. The first two are pains that Aldi addresses by having generally lower prices and smaller product range, while the third is a gain that is created for the customers, and it is clearly working. Aldi have won awards from names like Good Housekeeping and People's Choice. In May 2021, Aldi's total market share was 8%, with traditional supermarkets, Morrison's, at 10%, though there is still a long way to catch up with market leaders, Tesco, which is 27%. Once you've researched what your customers want from you, make sure to do a competitor analysis. If your customers can get what you're offering elsewhere, then they probably aren't going to buy from you. Of course, like Aldi, you could market yourself as the budget-friendly option, drawing customers away from competitors through cost savings. If this isn't the way you want to go, look at what your competitors are doing and not doing, and then see how you could do better. Sainsbury's might not be the cheapest or the best known for its quality, but it has strong reward system with links to brands such as American Express and eBay that give it a unique value proposition and also encourages consumer loyalty. The basic formula for defining your value proposition is our product or service helps the customer segment who want to do this job by relieving this customer pain and adding that customer gain. An example for the Co-op might be Co-op helps shoppers without access to a car who want to buy food by providing a supermarket in their neighborhood and allowing them to support local initiatives. Your value proposition is what you use to market your business. You could even make different value propositions for each customer segment or product. Remember, your value proposition is what draws customers to your business over your competitors, so make it stand out. Where can you find out more about this? Well, in the SME blog and newsletter.
Excellent. I just wanted to clarify one point, Ammar. I think over the years, for some reason, value, it's got nothing, there's nothing to do with cheapness, because I think some people may misunderstand value as being cheap, but it's not about being cheap. It's you can go to Flannels and buy a shirt for 500 quid, but it might be, the value proposition might be brilliant based on who the designer is and this, that, and the other. So I think that's probably a point that our listeners may need to understand. The value proposition. It's something that carries over all platforms of businesses, whether it's the low-end market or the high-end market. You can still get equal value proposition in both markets.
Undoubtedly. And, the point that you make is a critical one, Jeff, because value, is pretty much what you feel is something's worth. And as a business, what you're doing is you're creating, you're capturing, and you're delivering value. That's the life cycle that is the life cycle of your business. When you create, capture, and deliver value, and that's where that desirability, feasibility, and viability come about, as in being clear on those aspects of your business. So your value proposition is the most important thing of your business. So you take your customer segments, you look at what product or service you're offering them, and what job are they trying to do, and what pain are they experiencing, and what gain are they looking for. So what's keeping them awake at night, and what do they dream about? And from a business point of view, understanding this is absolutely critical to the success of your business. So, let's pick your business as an example. Your value proposition is, the environment, the quality of the food, the fact that you're offering something that nobody else is offering, that it makes it very unique, and the authenticity that you've got. So there's the gain that you're giving to a customer, is that you're giving them a guarantee of the quality of your food, the freshness of the ingredients, the consistency in the experience, the overall experience that they're going to come and get through your sort of customer service. And you're actually serving people, that holistic approach. So that's the gain that you're creating. The pain that you're relieving is similarly, they're coming to somewhere where it's hard to get into, it's very, very popular, it is very much a case of, well, the pain relief is that they know what to expect. So you're going to get a constant and consistent experience from a food, from a service point of view. And the gain that you're giving them is it's almost you've created a community as well. So people come in there, they feel special, they go away, they talk about it. It's been an extraordinary experience. So that's your value proposition, all of those type of things. But illustrating that is sometimes really, really hard. So there is I call it a business's purpose. So what is your purpose? So we provide the best quality food that's authentic, which offers a consistent approach to food quality, and means that the pain is they're not going to get ill of it, they're not going to get sick of it. As in, there's almost that extreme, isn't there? Because you can go to certain places and you don't know what you're going to feel like after having a particular dish.
Well, sometimes it's nice though when you go and have those greasy kebabs and stuff. It's like nice at that time though, isn't it?
Well, of course it is. Well, it depends on, as long as you're not unwell off them, is the point. As in, I must admit, I have this craving, and I always have done, but I'm now having it during the day as well, Jeff. The doner kebabs.
Yeah, well, let's have a night out, Ammar, where we go and have a doner kebab.
Yeah. Well, yeah. All right. What we're doing tonight?
Well, yeah, let's organize it. Let's go somewhere for a nice juicy doner kebab.
All right, well, that's a separate conversation. What's happening in the news?
To be honest, I don't really watch much of the news anymore. I really do find the news really boring, to be honest. It's just the same. It's just so scripted. I just feel it's so scripted that I don't really listen to it. So I know there's stuff happening with the Taliban, whatever's going on over there. I don't really know. I haven't really watched the news. I watched the football news, and it's coming to transfer deadline day, and there could be some huge moves, and one of them could be Cristiano Ronaldo coming to the Premier League, which would be amazing. There's talks of him coming to Man City. Our own club, it really just hurts us to be a Newcastle United supporter. 3 defeats on the trot. We're out of the Carling Cup, lost to Burnley, and we've got off to the poorest start that you could possibly think of, and it is worrying. Hopefully, they'll turn things around. We need a few wins under our belt, otherwise we're going to be in trouble. There's also news that the Qataris who own PSG, they're potentially looking to buy Arsenal. Still feel that even makes us feel even more devastated than the Saudis weren't allowed to take over NUFC. And if that deal is allowed, then what's the difference? So look, there is lots of politics in football, and when it affects our club and our city, when you see the world moving on and we're kind of stuck in a rut, it just makes you feel awful as a football supporter. So that's a little bit of news that I follow. Along with that, I don't really.
Have you been to any of
I haven't been yet, Ammar. I mean, what really goes on in Kabul and what the Taliban's doing in their country, I'm not really that bothered about, to be honest. Let them get on with it. Why does it need to be such big news? You know? So that's the kind of news that interests me. Maybe it's local news, what's happening in our city. And that's kind of what is pushes my which triggers some interest, really.
No, I get that, and I appreciate that, but it is a sad state of affairs, what is going on across the globe, Jalf. What is critical is that we understand and appreciate the humanity and the crisis that exists over there. And yesterday there was a bomb that killed sort of 60, 70, 80, 90 people going to the airport, some of them US troops. So they've now said, we are not doing anything more from and out of the airport. And it clearly highlights the challenges and the vacuum that has been created in Afghanistan and the impact on the rest of the globe.
Discussions and chat on phone issues. Spice FM 98.8 FM.
Boris Johnson's defending the wider use of stop and search powers across England and Wales, insisting it's not a strong arms tactic. PM plans